Hello everyone, welcome to the Green Man channel, hope you're all good and well. So for this Sunday's first album review, I'm tackling the 10th studio album from classic Norwegian black metal band Immortal and their release War Against All, which came out on Friday just gone via Nuclear Blast. The album is 8 tracks and 38 minutes in length. So if you're not aware, this band have had quite a lot of internal turmoil in the last kind of 7 or 8 years, particularly with the departure of Abath in 2015. And that followed some disputes over the trademark and the band name. And then we had that again in 2020 with the departure of the drummer as well, leaving just Demon as the sole remaining and one of the founding members of the band here. And I actually found, Northern Chaos Gods, which is the album that came out before this one. As with a lot of people, I really enjoyed that album. It made my number 7 of 2018. I thought it was a really solid effort. And as well as having sort of that bit of intensity to that album, I thought it just had some interesting dynamics to it as well, some good lead guitar work and just a little more to it than what this album I think has, which is just a little bit on the predictable side for my liking. I find the changes I could see coming and I like to be surprised. If you like your black metal with a classic sound and you don't mind uncomplicated, straightforward black metal, maybe you'll like this album a little bit more than me, but for me, I just didn't find it exciting enough. And the songs where I found that there were maybe some signs they were going to go somewhere interesting, or we were going to be, Demon As were going to show us something else, it just never really felt like it truly developed the song's potential in some places. It felt like almost every song did have a bit of potential, but for me, the songs never really delivered. It's like, how do I put it? This was like the songs had, they were successful at being imposing on the listener and bringing that bit of black metal authority to the album, but they didn't deliver knockout blows. Whereas Northern Chaos Gods had that ability to deliver a few knockout blows as well as being that imposing presence. And that's my biggest issue with this album, War Against All. Yes, it has some good moments, it has some good intensity, but it ultimately fails to deliver something a little bit more special or something standout, something that is different from just a bit of the kind of run-of-the-mill, classic sounding, almost like, just predictable, as I said at the beginning. Now, you might love this album, as I say, and that's fine, but I just didn't really find it for me particularly this time round. So let's go into the tracks a little bit more from this latest Immortal release. I actually thought the album started off quite strong with the title track, delivering on the successful intensity that Northern Chaos Gods had. If anything, again, I thought that this track just kind of demonstrates what I was saying, though, really. It was a little predictable sounding and did sound like it could be on Northern Chaos Gods, but yeah. I actually quite liked the third track, though, War God, which was a bit of a head nodder. It was a little different from the other tracks on the album as well. And I quite enjoyed the guitar riff, and I thought it gave the album just a little bit more balance to it instead of just being the sort of intense, kind of expected Immortal output. Return to Cold wasn't bad, but again, I found that song maybe lacking in a little bit of musical imagination, not really doing anything particularly I found that was really going to grab me or bring me in with the music. Nordlandia had a lot of potential. It felt a little bit more proggy even. There's one of the longer tracks on the album. It did feel like it could go places, but it never really did. And it just kind of lacked that killer blow that this sort of an album, I think, would benefit from having. And yeah, so on the whole, I've got to say, this latest release from Immortal for me was a little bit of disappointment. I wouldn't say it's a bad album. I'm not going to say it's a bad album because I actually think, the songs had those platforms to them, but they just weren't built on enough. And that's really all I have to say. I don't have a lot else to say about this latest Immortal release. So I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10 from the Green Man. So still, like I say, if you like straight up black metal, then maybe you'll enjoy this. But for me, just didn't quite have the killer instincts of Northern Chaos Gods. So that's why it's a 6 out of 10 and not a little bit higher. Yeah, otherwise, hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to drop a sub, but you may want to hang around. You may want to hang around because the next review is of a black metal band who delivered a pretty stellar album. I don't want to give too much away, I'll probably just have. But that is the album from this weekend I think you don't want to miss. Believe me. So hope you stick around for that coming up very shortly. Otherwise, from me, Green Man, until next time, as always, bye for now.